I'm going to move to a question from Pine River. Well, not that this is controversial, but transportation funding. Gosh, it comes up every session, some form or fashion. At this point, I think I understand there's some strong discussion about some bonding for roads and bridges, and that's about what I've heard. Now, you illuminate me and our audience. So maybe why don't we start with Senator Eakin?
Sure.
What are you hearing about roads and bridges?
Well, what I do hear is everybody agrees we need more funding, significantly more funding for roads and bridges. The only question is how to achieve that and where we find the revenue. And there's nothing moving this year on the gas tax user fee side. That's typically how we've generated the revenue necessary to fund our roads and bridges. It's a constitutionally dedicated revenue source that goes just to roads and bridges, and it actually is quite beneficial to our area. It runs through a formula that is very beneficial to rural Minnesota because we get back more than what we pay in, which means that we're leveraging and getting some money from the Twin Cities to put into our roads and bridges, which is a good thing. And helps to reduce the burdens on the taxpayers in our area who already pay a higher percent of their income in taxes when you look at the rural areas compared to the metro. So that's one of the reasons it's justified. But this year, the proposal that I've heard that's possibly moving would be a constitutional amendment that would create a new dedicated source of revenue for roads and bridges. And it would be from the sales tax on auto parts and auto repairs and car rentals that would go into the formula for funding roads and bridges. And it seems to make sense on the face of it. You know, it's a tax that's obviously related to roads and bridges because it's a tax on auto parts and things that are, autos that use those roads and bridges. But I do have a concern that it's taking money that already is going into the general fund, so it's already existing funds, and diverting it away from things like nursing homes, schools, or local government aid for our communities that also benefits our rural areas very much. And so for that reason, I have some real concerns about such a constitutional amendment. And on top of that, it doesn't completely fix the problem, and I do have concerns that if you pass a constitutional amendment like that, you may not be able to get any more funding after that, but it's something that would go on the ballot this fall if it does pass. I don't know how likely it is to pass this year. The governor does not support going that route. He's concerned, too, about the impact it's going to have, especially on some of our most vulnerable citizens, if they are the target of cuts because of that, the diversion of those funds. But the governor doesn't have the power to veto a constitutional amendment. It's just simply it's passed by majority vote in the legislature. If it passes, it goes to the ballot for the people to vote on in November.
All right. Well, we'll turn to your neighbor to the north, Senator Johnson, and see your perspective on the whole picture of this transportation funding.
Sure. And last year, we gave, I think it was $300 million one-time funding was what came out of the legislature on top of what currently is being done. So this is a commitment to that the legislature has in transportation. I think it's something that we see the critical need. And I'd like to echo a little bit on Senator Eakin on the constitutional amendment. I know that's been talked about quite a bit lately. But I do also see the legislature's hands being tied. Right now, roads and bridges are a priority. We want to get those fixed. We want to improve that, make those safety improvements, make just the structural improvements that we need to make. But what if in a couple of years we realize that it's something else, whether it's education, higher education, health care, something else, all of a sudden we need to put those funds into. But we've tied our hands with this money. So now we can no longer grab that money and use it on those other items in the budget. I think that's pretty dangerous. So I'm not saying whether I would go for it or not quite yet, but I'm a little skeptical of whether that's a good idea in the long run or not.
Well, let's turn to Representative Carlson. The problem is not new. Minnesota's roads and bridges have taken a lot of beatings. So where do you think we're going?
In fact, that's an area where we do have to invest in our infrastructure. We had a very good example a number of years back when the 35W bridge collapsed. And that developed a lot of interest in looking at bridges, and they had to temporarily close one in the St. Cloud area, another one in the Winona area. They fortunately didn't collapse, but they were questionable in terms of their usage, at least for heavier vehicles, trucks and so on. So those are just examples of what happens when you don't invest in your infrastructure. So the debate is what will be the source of money. You know, the gas tax is not being talked about. That's been a traditional source, although we did do a constitutional amendment transferring license tab fees a few years ago that did pass. But those two sources of revenue come up short with what the infrastructure need is across the state. There is on the House side some conversation about bonding, some additional bonding dollars this year. I think the conversation on the constitutional amendment, at least on the House side, seems to be somewhat limited for the reasons that have been shared by the two senators here. The House passed a budget resolution last week, and that would have put dollars in from the general fund for transportation, in addition to what might ultimately be done on the bonding side. But it's a huge issue in Minnesota, no question.
Representative Anderson and I drive many of the same roads, as a matter of fact, and I think we can agree there are some real needs out there. But always the magic. What is the bullet? What is the right strike of balances to bring improvements to our roads?
Well, one thing I liked in the House transportation bill that Representative Carlson mentioned, there's going to be some money set aside for some trunk highway bonding. As you well know, Jim, that there's a certain rail grade crossing up in our area that a lot of folks would like to see that fixed up, and we're trying to get some funding. It has to be trunk highway bonding dollars that would take care of rail grade separation crossings. I'd like to establish a separate fund to work on those statewide, because it's a safety issue, and also to help clean up some of these areas that aren't the safest. So I'm encouraged that in the House transportation bill, there's about $100 million for transportation, and part of that hopefully will be this set-aside fund for trunk highway bonding for rail grade separation crossings.
Yep. Well,
if I might interject something,
yes.
When I was chair of Ways and Means, we set aside some dollars to repair potholes, and it was one of the most popular things in the bill. It wasn't a large amount, but it did tell you something about the spring of the year and what people were enduring.
Did they fix the big one in front of where we drive into the state office building?
Well, that was a few years ago, so that was...
I'm told it's on the list. Don't worry.
But it was kind of interesting what the public kind of grabbed a hold of. It was a modest amount of money, but it was designated for potholes. And
Yeah.